Hello, dear children. Hope you are brimming with joy and studying well. Welcome back once again to our English class. Before we begin today's class, let me check whether you have the habit of reading textbook at home. I can see all serious faces now. I know you all really like English language and invest time in reading books. Let me quote Francis Bacon, "Reading maketh a full man, conference a ready man, and writing an exact man." Today, here are some guests with me. Just to have a look if you are familiar with them. Someone has raised your hands. Oh, that's Arun. Come on, say. Yes, exactly right. She is Miss Job Smith. What is Balu saying there? The second person is Hassan. Do you agree? Yes, right. Exactly. He is Hassan, our Sarang. Anne has identified at once. This is Dr. A.J. Cronin. Don't say together, one at a time. Excellent. This is Captain Humble, captain of the ship Renaganji. Let's continue with some simple activities. Study the picture and write a suitable sentence. Here is the picture given. Hassan brought 2 infected seamen to Dr. A.J. Cronin. Here you can see the second picture. Identify the character and write the characteristic features. From the picture, you can understand that the character shown here is of Captain Humble. He is a thick-set man, 55 years, just and fair-minded officer. Here comes our third picture. Study the picture and describe it in a sentence. Dr. Cronin reported the outbreak of smallpox to Captain Humble. Here is our fourth picture. Describe the picture in a sentence. 2 of the crewmen were comfortably installed in the isolation room by Hassan. You can write in different ways, but remember it should be meaningful and grammatically correct. Children, what do you see on the screen? Epitomes of selfless service. Oh, it means perfect examples of helping hands. Who are they? Yes, Mother Teresa. The Albanian born Mother Teresa became an Indian citizen later on in life and was honored with the Nobel Peace Prize in 1979 for her work for bringing help to suffering humanity. She opined, loneliness and the feeling of being unwanted is the most terrible poverty. Can you identify this person? He is commonly known as Baba Amte, an Indian social worker and activist particularly known for the rehabilitation and empowerment of people suffering from leprosy. He established Anandavan in 1949. So, yes, who are they? Epitomes of selfless service. Haven't we met a person of such humanitarian concern in our voyage? Children, in our voyage from Liverpool to Calcutta in our ship Renaganji. Yes, you are absolutely right. The person is Hassan, our Sarang. With 14 smallpox affected Lascars, our doctor and Hassan were in troubled waters in the middle of the vast sea. Dr. A.J. Cronin's respect, and admiration for Hassan increased with each and every passing moment. Let us see what more he has to tell us. For that, let's move on to page number 116. Please do take your textbook. Hassan had no fondness for speech, but despite the silences of our long night vigils, I gathered some fragments of his history. He was from the Punjab, whence his parents had wandered to southern India. There, like so many in the coastal area, he had taken to a seafaring life. For nearly 40 years, he had given himself to the oceans of the world, and 15 of these years had been spent in the Ranaganj. Indeed, he had no place on shore, neither family nor friends in the great landmass of India. He had never married. Here are some questions for you. Question number 1. From where did Hassan come? Punjab. Where had his parents relocated to? His parents had relocated to southern India. What life did Hassan adopt in southern India? Hassan adopted a seafaring life in southern India. For how many years has he been traveling in the oceans of the world? 40 years. How long Hassan has been working on Ranaganji? 15 years. Dear children, from this paragraph we can conclude that Hassan was a man of few words, but he has lot of commitment. He was from Punjab. When his parents shifted to southern India, he had taken to a seafaring life. From almost 40 years, he has been living in the lap of oceans of the world. He has been working on the Ranaganji for the last 15 years. Moreover, Hassan had no place on shore. He had no family or friends. He was not married. മഹത്വം എന്ന വാക്ക് അന്വർത്ഥമാക്കുന്ന ഹസൻ എന്ന സിറാങ്ങിൻ്റെ വ്യക്തി ജീവിതത്തെക്കുറിച്ചാണ് ഇവിടെ പ്രതിപാദിച്ചിരിക്കുന്നത്. നിശബ്ദതയെ സ്നേഹിച്ച ഹസൻ വാക്കുകളേക്കാൾ ഏറെ പ്രവൃത്തിയിലാണ് വിശ്വസിച്ചിരുന്നത്. പഞ്ചാബിൽ നിന്നും തൻ്റെ രക്ഷിതാക്കൾ തെക്കേ ഇന്ത്യയിലേക്ക് എത്തിയപ്പോൾ ഹസൻ തൻ്റെ കടൽ ജീവിതത്തിന് തുടക്കം കുറിച്ചു. കഴിഞ്ഞ 40 വർഷമായി ലോകത്തിലെ പല സമുദ്രത്തിലുമായി അദ്ദേഹം ജീവിതം ചിലവഴിച്ചു. 15 വർഷമായി രണഗഞ്ചിയിൽ തന്നെയാണ് സേവനം. ഈ ഭൂമിയിൽ സ്വന്തമായി ഒരു സ്ഥലമോ കുടുംബമോ സുഹൃത്തുക്കളോ ഹസനില്ലായിരുന്നു. അദ്ദേഹം അവിവാഹിതനായിരുന്നു. തികച്ചും വ്യത്യസ്തനായ ഒരു വ്യക്തിയാണ് ഹസൻ എന്ന് നിങ്ങൾക്ക് തോന്നുന്നില്ലേ? തിളക്കമുള്ള കണ്ണുകൾ എനിക്ക് കാണാം. I could see sparkling eyes and keen ears. With a curious mind, we are eager to know more about Hassan. Let's continue to listen to Dr. A.J. Cronin. By religion, he was a Muslim. All his life, he had acquired nothing, neither property nor money. His few possessions contained in his ship's chest might be worth a few rupees. The thought hurt me, and in an access of mistaken sympathy, I exclaimed, Hassan, you are doing so much in this emergency. The company must give you extra pay. His forehead creased perplexly. He was silent for a moment. Then he answered, what use is money, Dr. Sahib, to one who has all he needs? I am well enough the way I am. He was unmistakably sincere, completely detached from the usual hope of reward. Money had no interest for him. He had always despised it. Instead, he had courage, self-control, and faith. The men He worked among, lived poor, and died poor. It had become the habit of his mind to disregard tomorrow. So, here are some questions from the paragraph I have read now. Pick out Hassan's qualities from the above read paragraph: courage, self-control, faith, unmistakably sincere. So, children, Hassan was a Muslim. He had acquired no money or property. All that he had was a few rupees, and it was in the ship. Money was of no use to him, and he had what he needed. He was quite happy and satisfied the way he was. He never wished for any extra money for extra service. He had no desire for money and neglected future. Instead of having much cravings for money, anxiety for future, what Hassan had with him is courage, self-control, faith. He was among the poor and rendered helping hand whenever needed without expecting rewards and awards. There lies the greatness of the silent man, Hassan. വളരെ കാലം കപ്പലിൽ ജോലി ചെയ്തെങ്കിലും ഹസൻ പണമൊന്നും സംഭരിച്ചില്ല. ധനസമ്പാദനത്തിന് യാതൊരു താല്പര്യവും അദ്ദേഹത്തിന് ഉണ്ടായിരുന്നില്ല. ഭാവിയെ അദ്ദേഹം അവഗണിച്ചു. അധിക ജോലിക്ക് അധിക കൂലി അദ്ദേഹം ആഗ്രഹിച്ചിരുന്നില്ല. ഇതെല്ലാം ഡോക്ടർ AJ ക്രോണിനെ അത്ഭുതപ്പെടുത്തി. ഹസൻ താൻ സന്തോഷവാനാണെന്നും തനിക്ക് വേണ്ടതെല്ലാം ഉണ്ടെന്നും ജീവിതത്തിൽ താൻ വളരെ സംതൃപ്തനാണ് എന്നും പറഞ്ഞത് തീർച്ചയായും ഡോക്ടർ AJ ക്രോണിനെ മാത്രമല്ല നമ്മെ ഏവരെയും അത്ഭുതപ്പെടുത്തും. ജീവിതത്തിൽ സംതൃപ്തിയാണ് ഏറ്റവും അമൂല്യമായ സ്വത്ത് എന്ന് നാം ചിന്തിച്ചു പോകും. Shall we go to the next paragraph? Standing with him in the moonlight, I was stung by a strange pang. Beside his clear simplicity, the world's values suddenly seemed dross. A great party had started in the saloon. Indeed, as I viewed my own outlook towards the future, my passionate desire for success and wealth, I was conscious of a secret shame. Going for the questions from this passage, I was stung by a strange pang. Who? Dr. AJ Cronin. What was the doctor secretly ashamed of? The doctor was secretly ashamed of his passionate desire for success and wealth. See, Cronin feels even the world's values seemed to dross before the noble human being Hassan. Moreover, Dr. Cronin felt a secret shame engulfing him as he was conscious of his passionate desire for success and wealth. ഹസൻ എന്ന വലിയ മനുഷ്യൻ്റെ മുന്നിൽ ലോകത്തിൻ്റെ മൂല്യങ്ങളൊന്നാകെ ചെറുതാകുന്നതായി ഡോക്ടർ ക്രോണിന് അനുഭവപ്പെട്ടു. കൂടാതെ രഹസ്യമായ ഒരു നാണക്കേട് അദ്ദേഹത്തെ ആവരണം ചെയ്തു. ഭാവിയെക്കുറിച്ചുള്ള ഉത്കണ്ഠ, വിജയത്തിനായുള്ള കുതിപ്പ്, സ്വത്തിനും പണത്തിനുമായുള്ള തീരാത്ത മോഹം, ലൗകികമായ എല്ലാ കെട്ടുപാടുകളും സംതൃപ്തനായ ഹസൻ എന്ന മനുഷ്യൻ്റെ മുന്നിൽ അലിഞ്ഞുപോയി. ഡോക്ടർ ക്രോണിൻ്റെ ആത്മപരിശോധനയ്ക്കും പുനർവിചിന്തനത്തിനും ഹസൻ എന്ന വ്യക്തി കാരണമായി. Dear children, have you forgotten about the patients in the isolation room? What is their present status? Have they recovered? Let's have a look into the isolation room. On the following day, we lost two of our patients. It was Hassan himself who received their shouts, who in his hoarse and hollow voice read aloud a short passage from the Ramayana before their bodies wrapped in sailcloth with a weight at their feet, were cast overboard at midnight. No fresh cases developed, and a week later we anchored off Colombo. Soon the sick men had been taken off to hospital. Several of the patients showed signs of having passed the crisis, but three, helpless and delirious, a mass of running sores, were carried in the arms of Hassan. As we stood together, I saw that the Sarang's dark cheeks were wet with tears. പിറ്റേ ദിവസം വളരെ സങ്കടകരമായിരുന്നു. 2 രോഗികൾ മരിച്ചു. ഹസൻ സ്വയം അവരുടെ ശവക്കച്ച തുന്നുകയും തൻ്റെ പരുക്കൻ ശബ്ദത്തിൽ ഉച്ചത്തിൽ രാമായണത്തിലെ വരികൾ ഉദ്ധരിക്കുകയും ചെയ്തു. കപ്പൽ പായയിൽ മൃതദേഹങ്ങൾ പൊതിഞ്ഞ് അവർക്ക് അർദ്ധരാത്രിയിൽ ജലസംസ്കാരം നൽകി. ഹസൻ്റെ ത്യാഗമനോഭാവത്തിന് മുന്നിൽ ആരും കൈകൂപ്പിപ്പോകുന്ന നിമിഷം. The conditions of the patients got worse in the following days, and 2 of them died. Hassan wrapped their bodies in a sailcloth and, chanting verses from the Ramayana, buried them under the sea. The author wondered at the sacrificing attitude of the Sarang. Even after reaching Colombo, Hassan willingly carried helpless patients in hands to hospital. His dark cheeks were wet with tears. He is the embodiment of the virtues, humanitarian concern, and helping the needy at the right moment. We are about to reach our destination. Our ship Ranaganji is about to reach Calcutta. Our passage through the Bay of Bengal was brief and uneventful. I had barely time to recover myself or to realize that the epidemic had been confined before we were anchored alongside the quay at Calcutta. Suddenly, at my elbow, I heard the familiar shrilling voice of Miss Jobsmith. "Oh, look, look, Ronnie, there is that absurd creature again." Once more, I followed their united gaze, and then again, down in the afterhold, knocking out the hatch battens to unload the baggage, was the object of their mirth, Hassan. The huntress from Cheltenham swung round, bent her wit, her fascinations upon me. "Where did you keep him during all the entire voyage, Doctor dear? In a special cage?" Silence. A vision of the Sarang's nobility rising before me. Yes, in a way, it was a cage. But isn't it queer, Miss Jobsmith? The animals were all outside. We have some questions from this passage. Where is the ship now? It is anchored along the quay at Calcutta. Who is referred to as huntress here? Miss Jobsmith. വൈകാതെ കപ്പൽ കൽക്കട്ടയിലെത്തി. മിസ് ജോബ്സ്മിത്ത് എന്ന പൊങ്ങച്ചക്കാരി വീണ്ടും ഹസനെ കളിയാക്കുന്നു. ആ യാത്രയിലുടനീളം ഹസനെ ഏത് കൂട്ടിലാണ് ഇട്ടിരുന്നത് എന്ന് അവർ ഡോക്ടർ എ ജി ക്രോണിനോട് അന്വേഷിക്കുന്നു. തീർച്ചയായും അതെ, ഹസൻ കൂട്ടിൽ തന്നെ ആയിരുന്നു, കാരണം മൃഗങ്ങളെല്ലാം പുറത്തായിരുന്നു എന്ന് ഡോക്ടർ എ ജെ ക്രോണിൻ മറുപടി പറയുന്നു. ആ മറുപടി ഹസൻ എന്ന മഹത് വ്യക്തിത്വത്തെക്കുറിച്ച് നമ്മെ ചിന്തിപ്പിക്കുന്നു. Going to the conclusion of the story, we the readers feel extremely happy to see Dr. Cronin little bit relieved, for they could control such a contagious disease without much casualties. Later, when they reached Calcutta port, there is Miss Jobsmith, who asked Cronin whether he had kept Hassan in a special cage. Dr. Cronin remarked that Hassan was in a cage with all the animals outside. The doctor gave a thought-provoking reply pregnant with ideas. The doctor alone has understood the nobility of the sarang in all its fullness. It is always true to say that silent mind can do miracles. Selfless service is not a job or just a task. It is an act of healing, of touching hearts and radiating love. There are people who are compassionate that they are unbelievable, and those people are making the world a better place to live in. In this lesson, we understand how real heroes emerge during situations of chaos and disaster. So, dear children, it is time for recap. Hassan was from Punjab. He had no place on shore and remained unmarried. He was happy and contented with what he had. When two patients died, Hassan himself offered them a burial at sea. When they reached Calcutta port, Miss Jobsmith asked Cronin whether he had hid Hassan in a cage. Cronin remarked that Hassan was in a cage with all the animals outside. Now, let's move on to the activity section. Activity 1, Letter of Enquiry. Using the graphic organizer, write a letter of enquiry. Imagine that your school has decided to visit Cochin Shipyard as part of field trip. Write a letter to the director to enquire about the entry fee and timing. Make use of the graphic organizer. The letter must have salutation, subject, introduction, body of the letter and conclusion. General format for letter of enquiry is presented here. Make use of the format and write down the answer. Dear Sir, Madam, enquiry regarding the facilities at Cochin Shipyard. The students of ABC School would like to visit Cochin Shipyard on 23/4/2021. We would be grateful to know about the facilities, availability of gate and timing. Expecting your reply at the earliest, yours sincerely, name, Secretary, Tourism Club. Okay, dear children, here is another question, activity 2. For those who feel that learning English is a Herculean task, here is a simple, easy way to reach your goal. Suppose you are asked to write character sketch of Hassan. Can't you learn some simple words for that? Just go through the words given there. Main character, Sarang, Punjab, no fondness for speech, 15 years in Ranaganji, no place, no friends, family, not married, money is of no interest, courage, self-control, faith, satisfied man, kind heart, noble character. Using words given, please do prepare a character sketch that will make it very easy for you. Hassan is the main character in the story, The Sarang of Ranaganji. He is a Sarang in the ship. He belonged to Punjab. He had no fondness for speech. He had been employed in the Ranaganji for 15 years. He had no place, friends or family. He was not married. He did not have any interest in money. He had courage, self-control and faith. He was a satisfied man with a kind heart and noble character. Don't you feel that it is very easy? Activity 3. Just have a look at the picture given here. Based on the story, the Sarang of Ranaganji, complete the blanks with suitable responses. Characters in the story, problems faced in the voyage, challenges, solutions. Coming back to the answers, characters in the story, Miss Jobsmith, Dr. A.J. Cronin, Hassan, Captain Humble. Problems faced in the voyage, smallpox, outbreak of smallpox. Challenges, no means of vaccination, no sick bay, in the middle of the ocean, understaffed, nearest port is 8 days away. Solutions, canvas tent as isolation room in the afterdeck, isolated people, nursed the patients well, thorough medical inspection for all, prevented the spread of the disease. Dear children, now we go for extended reading. For extended reading, I would suggest some books which would be remarkable and experimental. This will lead you to the world of outstanding experiences. Moby Dick by Herman Melville. Moby Dick is a novel written by Herman Melville. The Old Man and the Sea. Novel by Ernest Hemingway. Uncle Tom's Cabin. Novel by Harriet Beecher Stowe. Night is a book by Elie Wiesel. Here are some beautiful novelettes and short stories by Dr. A.J. Cronin. Child of Compassion, The Man Who Couldn't Spend Money, The Innkeeper's Wife. These are all novelettes by Dr. A.J. Cronin. And here are some beautiful short stories by Dr. A.J. Cronin. Lily of the Valley, Mascot for Uncle. Read these books and come out in flying colors. So dear children, you are all buds that are eager to bloom in the garden of life. May you bloom with grace, beauty, innocence, strength and qualities that make you all humane beings. May all your dream come true. All the best to all of you. Thank you.